Oh, history just keeps repeating. Then again, when you're into the semi-finals, what do you expect? Ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel. Best of 5 semi-finals is a 3D clan showdown. B on the Ayyubids going up against his teammate Cat on the Byzantines. Really interesting, actually. B, I don't think we've seen him do IO on this map just yet. Cat has been consistently whipping out the Byzantines on this map. With mixed results, I think some of them probably should have been dubs, but overall, he has been a killer of this. So, basically, we have 2 civs that don't necessarily do pro scouts. And you know what that means, right, guys? Whenever you get double doesn't do pro scout civ, weirdly enough, it means they can both do pro scout. It sounds weird, but it makes sense, right? There's just so much food on the map, so much to gain. Then again, the berries are also desirable if you get the right spawn. We do have a decent starter spawn for Cat, double berry stack. But B doesn't have that same type of stack. Like, he's a very, very far off. So maybe we see him go, like, advancement wing into pro scouts. That has been a build growing in popularity. And B has been one of the players experiment with it. And there you go. It is going to be the pro scouts. Advancement coming in a minute 30. Now, the quirky idea of this, by the way, is very efficient timing into pro scouts, because by saving 250 resources, I mean, you're basically saving 2/3 of what pro scouts costs. So really nice from that perspective. Byzantines wouldn't really mirror this play. Likely we're just going to be getting Grand Winery. In fact, you can pretty much expect Grand Winery, because otherwise I think you want to be out in the berries, just so you can get the initial mercenaries quicker. How you guys voting, though, by the way? 55 to 45%. Man, no surprise there. Last time these two matched up, it was a 3-2 win for B. Cat put more pressure on the B than Duma was able to in the best of 7 grand finals. So, with this being Grand Winery, what is Cat's play, necessarily? Looking at the spawn, the deer is fairly central bound, but funnily enough, he actually has a really safe deer here. I'd love to see Cat just shove this in to remove it from the equation, so that B has left to work with. He is going to scout it soon. Sheep count is not looking great for him. It's 11 to, what, 8? And it looks like they both maybe get 2 more to top off. But the cool play you can do here, probably the Limitane Lombo. It's very weird and off the cuff. More likely we're going to be seeing Javelin, just because Javelins are really good at dealing with Desert Raiders. But, like, I think Lombo Limitane really just catches Ayyubids off in a way that they're not expecting. They want to play cavalry, they can't, and then when they try to play archers, you've already got them like counted long range. More likely it's going to be Limitane Javelin, because whenever you go spears, you almost always go javs. I'm actually wondering what the win condition is in B's eyes, because Pro Scouts definitely gives you a lot of options, but I don't think it's going to use that to play long feudal. More likely would be fast castles, so you just want to add in just a few units to begin with, maybe 2 horsemen, Desert Raider maximum, force your opponent to react to the play, and then bypass. He has got a really good gold spawn for that, by the way. Usually the risk of trying to bypass feudal age is Byzantines, especially if they get Lombos, park on the front, block your gold. This is a much harder to reach gold vein. Now on the other side for Cat, I have not seen anyone try to Karo Siphon Ibis yet. I think the safer play here is just a little bit of pressure, 1 or 2 worker kills, and then you just yourself try to go for the castle play. Counterfract shouldn't really be on the menu due to the camel element of the Ayyubid, so most likely it'll be Golden Horn Tower. And there's the Limitane, so we're already beginning. Is there a world in which he outpost rushes? It seems unlikely here, but in theory, it's not the worst idea. The problem, though, is your opponent, instead of getting like double gold spawn on the forward, got 1 gold on each side of his base. So the only way you can make that really work is if you went for a double outpost, which would be a stretch here. Wait, did B get even more sheep? He's at 15. Okay, so you just never took them home because you're Ayyubids, right? You don't care. A little bit risky, but the reason why it doesn't feel that risky is because Limitane take longer to come out due to the more heavy expense on them, right? So just a great read there. B just maximizing to get as much deer home before the Limitane get in position. Moment of truth here. Javs, like I said, seems the most likely. Longbow would give him more parking potential. I really like longbows for when you're trying to kill villagers. I like javelins when you're trying to kill army. That being said, with an archer range being dropped, if he does scout this, it's going to push him towards javelins anyway. I kind of like that from B as well. You guys see that? Like, just the house here. We're not Age of Empires 2. This doesn't block off an entry point. But the whole idea is it just creates narrow funnel points. Makes it much harder if your opponent tries to go mass and dive. And there you go. It is indeed going to be the Silk Road. And that means that he's basically got enough time now with this archer play to gather, what, probably another 2 deer stacks. I think for B, he doesn't want to play this out too long. Realistically, you can. Because of the horseman spam. And this is kind of cool, actually. Instead of horseman spam, are we getting mass spears? Yeah, because when I see a spear play like this, I don't think it's about adding 1 or 2. We have talked a little bit in the past about how really good spears are against javelin play. They're phenomenal, actually, because you're able to just rush onto your opponent. The interesting thing is also with pro scouts and also the cheaper spears, you can essentially just out-blob your opponent's limitane. So we'll get a little bit of denial on the flank, but not enough. Archer's already chasing onto that. And Blacksmith is coming in, so Cat does intend to continue this path. It could just be about the Undermesh. Undermesh is really high value against archers in Field Age because of the way the calculations are done, right? So you take the damage, and the way it's calculated is that the percentile decrease happens first. So you take 30% less damage, and then you minus 1 additional damage. It's really warped, actually. It makes damage mitigation a bit stronger than it really should be. Like, it's a bit nuanced right now, but my feeling is if they add any more damage mitigation types where you remove a percentile, they're going to have to make it so that armor happens first and percentage afterwards. Because like, there's been too many strong examples in the past. It's a big part of why Limitane was so broken in the early days. I still can't believe that this unit used to have, what was that, 50% damage reduction. Expo Golem's incoming. It would be ambitious to pump for that. He needs to blob for the time being. We have got additional Raxes getting added in, but nice dive in there. Cat, obviously, with just 4 javelins, can't immediately get a kill. And I like what Cat's doing now. Yeah, he's cut all production. He's baited B. B's overinvested now. He's in for a penny, in for a pound, right? He's adding in a 3rd Rax and actually actively producing spears. So this hampers his timing. B needs to read what's really happening here and attack. And, you know, when he doesn't see additional Limitane, this should be a dead giveaway to him that Cat is being a greedy mother kitty. Also, just hurts to lose Limitane, javelins rather like this. You know, the whole idea is that this stage in the game, you can't inflate a lot, and they're not that impactful in small quantities. So B, at this stage, should just select all those buildings and drag his face across the keyboard producing. Alright, 1s if you think B's going to win this, 2s if you think Cat is. When you start to see the clear pictures here, B is even adding in the Horseman, so he will have a dive point potential. If he wants to really knock this one out of the park, Blacksmiths is such a missing component from a lot of Ayyubid builds. If he doesn't go Blacksmiths, this is pseudo pressure, pseudo tech, right? Half-half. One thing he can do that's really annoying, though, is even without the Blacksmiths, a ram could be worth it here just to try and remove systems. Like, disconnecting system, remember that's a big deal. And then the added benefit is that you can try to target the limited racks, even catch your opponent building them up. Because right now, Cat just doesn't have much melee to contest a ram. Okay, wow. B just shirks away at 4 jabs. Yeah, because he didn't add more horsemen, right? I thought he'd be going up to, like, 3 here. 3's a really solid number against the javelin pool. Instead, though, it looks like Cat is going to be pulling the trigger on Castle first. And B is going to be shadowing him. It's going to be heavily delayed for him as well. He doesn't have advancement to speed this up. You could go Growth. Growth is the safest option. There is a few quirky elements, alternatively, such as going for Gambler Wing. I think can be somewhat justifiable here, or even going Dervish wing. But I think Dervish is really tempting fate when Byzantines will immediately have access to monks via the Grand Winery. Poke in here. The A-click just betrayed him there. Oh no, so many A-clicks actually. He got baited under the wolf. He attacked onto the outpost. He's actually going to try to burn his way through this. There's 5 villages inside there. Yeah, I don't think this works at all. B's just got to calm down. He's throwing away any potential with these type of dives. He's still parked outside the base, but we can see he's already pulled the trigger. And he's going to be going Atabegs. Wait. This could be Atabeg Gulam. Atabeg Gulam is kind of dirty, actually. An underrated build, in fact. Remember, Atabegs give the 20% extra health, and Gulams are already a substantially tankier men-at-arms. So you just inflate them. It's basically like having boot camp, and we've seen how ridiculously tanky Abbasid boot camp Gulams can be. I think it's something like 234 health, which is more health than a Castle's Knight, actually. This is pretty cool. And the reason it can work here is because of the pro scouts again, right? Like, he just has the food flood to pretty much play almost like a Burgravy type build. Jabs are going to be able to intercept here. It's a good cut down. Basically, Cat needs to get out on the map ASAP here. He's prioritizing the Varangian first, but with what's happening, B, although he's going to lose their troops, if you look at what he's doing, he's running further away from his base. Ideally, you want to be pinned in the corner, but the problem is it's too close to Cat's home, so he'll kill you faster. So yeah, just pretty much disposing of his troops to ruin Cat's timing here. Is pro scouting historically accurate? I mean, kind of. Why wouldn't it be? I mean, people would hunt deer and eat deer, right? I don't know what you're looking for in the historically accurate. Yeah, people did hunt and eat food. It was occasionally a thing, believe it or not. I mean, you know, I'm trying to think of civs that wouldn't. Obviously, it would be a civ that wouldn't have deer in its country, maybe. But even then, like, if you think Malians, you could say, oh, it wasn't deer, but gazelle. Are sheep just being magnetized to a man on a horse historically accurate? That's the question you should be asking. Dive coming in here, by the way, Cat. Already getting 2 worker kills in this game so far, and we'll be able to find more. Full garrison on the TC. B, he actually needs to be underneath here, because I believe that's where he dropped off all the deer. The Atabegs! Just about gets in. He's already got the Gulams queued up. These are going to be some tanky mother duckers. Needs to get him on the move, though. And look at that health pool. 234 to wallop with. But right now, he's being ignored. The tricky part here for B is surviving this onslaught. Cat's goal should not be to trade out the army. It should be to find the economy kills. And then Varangian are going to stabilize him on the next wave. Yeah, he's going to be able to snipe out some crossbows. We do have villagers now moving. Textiles, a smart read by B to minimize the loss. And you have the first Lancers coming out as well. So we'll have to peel away. It's a 5-villager lead for Cat. But his comp could end up looking a bit weak here. Got to try and get away with the javelins. He's seeing the crossbows coming. So understanding that the Varangian is starting to get counted. And Cat, he does still have enough olive oil left here, I believe, to get his hands on one more pump of javs. I think he's lucking out a little bit in the wrong way there, though, right? Unlucky. Camel Riders here. There are Lancers coming, and Camel Riders are great against Lancers, but at this stage, Javelins are your win conditioners, Cat. You need enough of them to stop the crossbow count, and then you basically just bog the Varangian and the Gulam down with each other. And quantity-wise, B is in a bit of a pickle here. 17 to 32. The Gulam numbers will eventually be competitive, but the problem you're running into right now is it's not 26 versus 25 seconds. These Raxas are right next to Systems, which means it takes 14 seconds to produce out of them. This is what B's struggling with right now. It's the Zergy qualitative nature of the Byzantines in Castle. It's like you are making your own football team, and you can afford people based on the statistics round age, right? And we're like, well, a 12-year-old is worth like 2 points. If you want a fully grown like 21-year-old, they're going to be worth like 10 points in your team budget. But then, for some reason, these are bioengineered children that are pretty much born to be Space Marines in the future. And they're still only worth 2 points. That's kind of how it feels when you play against Byzantines with this approach. Both of them whittling each other down, but I mean, this just feels done. B's gonna get starved again. I mean, the idea for Adabegs was pretty cool here. I just think the timings don't align. You need castles so much sooner, or you need more pressure. Had B found a way of killing something in feudal, I think we have a very different opening game here. But now the outcome feels almost undeniable. Crossbows are starting to ride for Cat. B doesn't have any range comp. The Varangian are diving the primary TC. And the lead is only building from here. Yeah, even went for the ranged armor too. We do have B basically staying alive based on pocket economies, gold and berries on the flanks. But that makes up, like, what, probably about a third of his eco. The rest is stuck here. Stuck here with the angry Vikings. Worst people to travel on a bus with. They're always like, oh, when is this thing sailing? When can we go raid someone? Stupid Varangian. Lancers would be okay if it wasn't for the crossbows. We do have a slowdown hit. Wait, Cat. Not like this. He hasn't been rallying the troops in. I think in the grand scheme, it doesn't matter. It's definitely suboptimal what he's doing here. Like, he's misrallied. Because I think what happened there is he selected his army, A-clicked a unit, and then it died. And remember, when they die, your unit stop moving. But at the end of the day, like, the problem I'm seeing is all the food is kind of front-facing. He's got a little bit of deer left over here. Once that gets exhausted, you're always in range. New crossbows are arriving, and this game is quickly becoming untenable. Plays like a goat, and then next minute plays like me. I mean, this isn't on him. This is praise to Cat. Cat just kept the dive going, right? Like, you know, you can't have more than 15 villages here, but where else did they go at this stage? You played pro scouts, you dragged everything home. The next berries are in the center of the map or to the north, and if you don't have eco here, your opponent knows you're elsewhere. Just really good execution by Cat. This man is unbeatable in the Byzantines and Bohemia. I didn't think I'd be able to say that about anyone this week, but he's exceeding expectations and already leading against the reigning champ. And these two are just wild with the way they draft. I wouldn't have expected this. Malians versus French for Dry Arabia. And who would have expected this? Let me flip that. Cat leads the series after game number 1. A dominant performance to get ahead in that one. In that game where actually pro scouts got beat by not pro scouts. This time, I'm expecting full pro scouts. And with B equipped with the Malians, dare I say, Farimba is borderline guaranteed. We're gonna find out. And yes, Revolver Joshua Law, I have heard of Songs of Conquest. I've played through Songs of Conquest. I need to play the newest campaign of it. It's a decent game. I don't think it's as good as Heroes of Might and Magic 3. Not many things are. But it does very well for what it is. I'd love to see the devs level up and make a sequel to it. Because I think like more games like that is always a win. But yeah, Home Free is just, I mean, maybe it's the nostalgia of me. I don't think it is. Like, when I played through the campaigns the other year, I was like, nah, this is still just goated. I don't, like, I've said before, I don't think Home Free makes for a good spectator game. I don't know if people would even want to watch me stream it, right? Because it's not flashy, but maybe. Okay, so, Sheep Hall, how are we looking? I'm slightly building for Cat. Oh, and he actually scouted in a very weird way. Yeah, straight down the center, and then you can dial back. In fact, he might even get more than that. Look at what Cat is doing. He's rotating around the back of B's base. Yeah, this is crafty, man. I love that. B's not going to realize what's happened until it's too late. You can basically get, what, about 70% of the sheep with this play? Bit of a gamble, but sick the way he executed. And I have tried Songs of Silence. Songs of Silence is a very pretty game. I think gameplay-wise, it lacks depth, though. So those don't know, Songs of Silence is like you get in battle and your units automatically attack and you can like use spells and whatever with your cards. It's okay. I still need to finish the final mission. I just got distracted before finishing it. It's decent. I'd say get it on sale though. I don't think Songs of Silence has replayability to the same degree of like Songs of Conquest. And I haven't tried the Tempest Rising free demo yet. I need to get around to that. As someone who has their roots of the RTS days in Command & Conquer, I'm kind of intrigued. I don't have high hopes, I think replicating the old Command & Conquer isn't necessarily a way to success. In fact, in a lot of ways, I think what RTSs need is more drastic evolutions rather than just trying to copy and paste what happened 20 years ago. You know, there'll be people that will buy what happened 20 years ago, but I think you're missing a lot of opportunities to take the genre forward. Like, it's going to sound weird, but in a lot of ways, MOBAs was the evolution of RTSs. To the point, to an extreme degree, that they're a different game, right? But, like, if you think about it, they were an evolutionary step. It's just a very... It's even easy to understand that when you think about Warcraft 3, where it came from. Where, like, oh, yeah, you just optimize it down to 1. It's not an RTS anymore, for sure. But the point is that you can come up with new ideas that can be intriguing, right? That's why I'm always in support of, like, when the devs bring things out like Jeanne. I'm like, okay, let's explore this and see how it goes. Can we have a 1 versus 1 versus 1? It's flawed. People just moan about teaming, they won't enjoy it. I think really the big evolution that just keeps getting skipped on an RTS is actually focusing around team games. Like, I will die on this hill. I think there hasn't been an RTS that's done a solid effort at making team games its priority. So, we do have tech ups coming out. Nothing out of the ordinary here. We've got the stables opening. It will be pro scouts on both sides. You can actually see that Cat has maybe miscalibrated on the economy a little bit. Not quite. I'd say actually he should have a little bit more. Because what you want to do here is you actually want to queue your first knight. And then, there we go. Yeah, he did actually have just enough gold coming in. So we will have the pro scouts. He's got it locked up perfectly, actually. It's a long day. My brain forgot just how much gold you saved there. Spawn-wise, B has got a decent one. Double gold protected. He's even going to go for the wall in. So this is a really nice type of spawn for him. He can now just focus on trying to gather the deer. He's got 2 on the front side of his base. We've got really subtle one hidden here that B... Oh, wait. Neither of them know about this deer yet. No. The rest has been scouted by both players, though. Strategically, 2v2 is interesting. Yeah, but you're saying strategically from an AoE 4 perspective, right? I'm saying flat across the board, look at RTSs. No one's really going out of their way to make them team-focused. One of the fairest things I've ever heard said about RTS in like the last 2 years is that teams always get treated as a tack-on of 1v1. And I couldn't agree more. There's very rare examples that exist in RTS history where it's been its own thing. And I think part of it is because they're scared that they wouldn't have enough players to even get it off the ground because RTS is a niche. So, what's going up here? Knight is going to arrive in time, though. Oh, that was a cheeky quick wall B. He doesn't get the second piece, though. Nah, and he won't go... Wait. Wait, did he get the perfect position for the scout there? I think he did. Yeah, he body blocked him. Oh, that was sick. And now you can just build the gate and escape to the other side. And all of a sudden, this knight's in a bit of a pickle here because remember, warrior scouts are quicker. However, this can be a good thing for Cat. If this knight drags B to the other side of the map, when pro scouts completes, he's going to have wasted his play. And yeah, there you go. He understands it, has to pull back. That was sick. Now, these two are always just so entertaining to watch. I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, there's some people that are scrim partners that can be... I don't know, I don't want to say underwhelming, but the outcomes can leave you with a bit of a sigh. So one example I'll use is Luciferon and Vortex. It's not that watching them is not fun. It's the way that they would conclude a game. In their eyes, it was obvious by 10 minutes, right? Whereas B and Cat always have these weird little one-up plays between each other, and they don't necessarily just immediately wave the white flag when one step goes wrong, right? Even if they played it out, it's almost like they're trying to prove they discovered something extra over the other. Should add a minimum win rate of 40% as prerequisite for ranked. That doesn't work. It's like, I don't like that. You can argue that you should have to play a certain amount of games before ranked, for sure. It's like, I think Dota 2 still has this where it's like you must play 10 games. I think it might be more now. Night Clash coming in, though. Yeah, the scouts are getting locked in. I think B's in trouble here. Could Cat be on a collision course for 3-0 in the reigning champ? I mean, I'm trying to remember last time they went up against each other. Wasn't it a 2-0 for Cat and then a reverse sweep for B? It may have been. Like right now, this looks phenomenal. He has Chivalry on the way, so basically he's going to heal as well. These guys can't do anything against Knights. And they also aren't gathering anything, right? Like B at this stage has 0 sheep. And because he's up against Knights, he has to be sheepish about coming out on the map. Like, this is the thing. The double deer stack spawn is actually griefing B because he doesn't have options. And in the meantime, Cat is taking away the long route options on the other side. Looks like he's going to get some Donzos and Javelins out, so that should be enough to now get the breathing room here. Cat doesn't have Chivalry yet, so coming into this fight is difficult. Great micro back there, but unfortunately the Donzos didn't quite get the stab out. Yeah, so now you just want to disengage long, because at the moment what's happening here is Pro Scouts isn't happening. Like, these are the scouts, so B isn't gathering anything. Even though he's getting space, he still needs to head back. And also, if Cat turns around to charge now, yeah, you can see they're both eyeballing it up. In fact, he's going to commit onto the Donzo. Great micro, Cat. Just trying to peel away the injured. Doesn't quite get that one out. And he does get surrounded here, so Cat getting a little bit cute will once again get trapped by B. However, 2 Knights is still more than enough to take this on. Also, B needs to be careful about trickling Donzos. I'm a bit worried that these Javelins are premature. They don't actually have a value point necessarily. At least gets value there with the last hit. Cat is in the meantime peeling back, has fresh Knights coming out. So Chivalry hasn't really been given an opportunity to find full value. He's going to find it over time, though. You can see the heavily injured ones hiding underneath the TC. Yeah, Cat's one of those players that just likes to pull them all the way home, even garrison them in the TC and cycle them through. We do have archers now getting added in. Cat is going to be discovering the deer nearby, but he needs to move fast because B has very close deer spawns. So if you don't have pressure again, he's going to get all of his deer home. Are they not healing? It's not a visual bug. Remember, you don't see the pluses unless you're on the POV. So you see here when we switch. Oh, wait, you can't. It's behind the panel. But yeah, think. But then we wouldn't see it. It's the way the observer works. Knights are back again. Second deer pack to be gathered. Donzo count isn't that scary right now. 6 Knights can take that. And now the archers are following this up, right? So if Cat gets this timing right, I don't think B can touch the food. He has at least got 1 deer stack home, but this means that Cat now can sneak over. A little bit surprised he's taking his deer first. I think this would have been a golden opportunity to take away from your opponent. I'd love to see Cat just actually pull 1 Knight and go rotate. This is prime territory right now. If you consider what B's doing, he's putting everything at the fort. We can see this, obviously Cat can't, but you have to assume this is everything he has. And oh, B. No, honey, no. 2 javelin deaths. Not acceptable when your opponent is going at archers. In fact, that is all the jabs he has. B is now overkill reacting into Donzos. And Cat, instead of trickling the archers out, have you noticed what he's done here, folks? He's held it back until he's got enough to do some real damage. Scout is going to go down. The archers now reveal themselves. Javelins have been queued up. And the Knights are going to try to force the fight. We do have a sofa coming in from B, but no clean target. He is at least going to idle the gold out a tiny bit. But nothing too long. In fact, wait, did he get a worker kill? It looks like he did. Nicely done. You do need kills over time, because if you're going to play a longer feudal age, France is going to build a lead. And I'm curious, is B just going to pull the trigger on the 3rd age now? You can see what this is turning into. No cattle ranches down. We've got a Farimba play. I wonder if he's going to go for the Freeborn. Freeborn plus Dunzo is kind of dirty. It's just the classic A-click mosh pit. We've seen B sometimes just likes to wait, though. Right? Like, he won't necessarily start producing the unit from the Farimba straight away. He'll just hold on to it until you produce something for him to counter. And in fairness, as the game goes on, Freeborn does become better and better, because French are meant to be going arbitrary. And looks like we've got a little bit of yoinking. Ah, he gets 3 of the deer. Nicely played. Also playing down to the ball. Cat kind of getting to the stage where you could think about Castle himself. With 12 Knights, Royal Institute definitely starts to feel justified here. Oh, Cat. He actually tanked the entire volley there. Wasn't quite enough Donzos. Archers are going to be able to start step away. The warrior scouts don't get bonus damage against them. He needs the javelins to reach. One of the knights is going to get pinched, but not enough DPS to take him down here. He has to be very careful. This is a fight he could definitely lose. I think you can feel it as well. The javelins just aren't picking apart the archers fast enough. Cat is going to reinvest. Meanwhile, B has to slow his tech timing to get additional javelins out. Now, there's a window here that's really important to keep an eye on. Once B is about 16 jabs, Cat shouldn't really be diving into him anymore. Before that, you can keep poking. And as you poke, as long as these knights aren't dying, you are favored here. Looks like we do have B moving out looking for shenanigans. We do have a deer left over here. I think Cat totally forgot about that one. Even with that detail in mind, he still has the edge. One problem is going to be down here. Yeah, he's going to be able to garrison the outpost, but he doesn't have enough room for all the villages. So that's going to be 3 villages that can just be lost. Weirdly enough, Cat, a bit of a miss micro there. He didn't actually garrison the injured villager. So it should be at least 1 worker dead. Knights are coming, so it should be minimized down to 1 kill. But hold on a sec, actually, Cat, he got textiles. Okay, I'm kind of impressed. I wouldn't have expected that. The scout will still be able to find 1 kill. But the knights will better clean them up now. Meanwhile, the dive towards the main. Looks like the knights were fishing. And Farimba is now on the way. Now, Cat, because he pulled south, he doesn't have enough troops here to dive. He could dive once he hits the tech up. It's dangerous, though. It's a lot of donzos. You won't be able to break in quick enough. Stay's going to try to break around the back. So B will at least get his tech up here. But Cat, I imagine he's going to just stop production, at least of the archers, the moment he hears the tech up. Knights is fine to keep blowing. Like we said, you can just upgrade these. In fact, there's more value in Royal Institute the more knights you have. Right? Because Royal Bloodlines can turn from, oh, this makes the game very competitive for me, to this is instantly GG. Veteran Cecil getting queued up. And I didn't actually expect this. It's a rare Malian Javelineer game. Now, the reason I didn't expect Javelineers is although he has a lot of javelins, I've seen plenty of games where people have this kind of count and still don't bother. They'd rather have Freeborn, for example. But it is a sick read. Remember, this is the tech choice that makes the Javelineers move quicker, 1.38 movement speed, and also gives them poison damage. So a decent pseudo answer to the knights. And also, because there's poison on them, they won't be able to trigger the chivalry, right? He's going to look to cut him off here. I think he's going to have to just sack the archers. You can't get away from Javelineers. That's what makes it a sick read from B. The difference in movement speed just kills you anyway. So it looks like he did actually peel it into 2 groups to try and get away. Tech up is coming through, but B is already in a position to do some serious damage with a push here. The knights, they're looking for the commitment. Donzos from the side is going to keep him honest, though. The movement speed compared to a knight is 1.38 versus 1.62. The problem is Cat was moving with his archers, which slowed him down to 1.25. Hence why he was losing troops. So he does get the tech up. Whole area has been vacated. The villagers do not want to hang around here. He needs to buy time. He needs to buy a lot. I think the archers that he's trying to vet are just going to be thrown away here. You can't save them. He'll be able to get the veterancy. He has got Royal Bloodlines on the way. Whether he's going to be able to survive a minute, I'm not sure. This is a lot of pressure gunning his way. And he is now a one-dimensional comp. I wonder if B realizes it. Like, just going into the base is the winning play here, right? Like, even if you think Cat is starting to go into men-at-arms, the Javelineers can whittle away at that. Right? 10 base damage, the poison as well. Maybe you should just make mass knights forget about archers. Sure, but the problem is your opponent has a lot of donzos, and javelins can whittle away at you as well. I don't know. I don't think knights can directly win the engagements. It's a little bit surprising, actually, that B isn't pressuring more. He seems to be paranoid that his opponent is going to be able to do more damage, which is understandable. Varian Royal Knights will 2-hit these villagers, actually 3-hit with the textiles, right? Showing a lot of respect, and has to, because B, a little bit of a slip up here. He never actually walled himself in. We do have relic gathering now being targeted. In fact, the knight did scout the double moss drop before it produced. Three D's never one-dimensional. Oh, was it collapsed? But that's not true, is it? If the 3D is printed on a piece of paper, then is it 3D or 2D? I guess it's still not one-dimensional. But wait, if 3D was to go bankrupt tomorrow, would that make them 1D? These are the questions we need answering. Javelineers and Donzos are on the way. And I don't know if Cat's got an answer for this. He doesn't have vision. And with the movement speed on the Javelineers, this could easily be 10 villagers dead. Needs to prep the line formation to chase in. Here we go. It's getting closer. Quick reaction on Cat. It's not going to be quick enough, though. Not against these range units. And look at the way he pummels him down. You just can't get away. It's impossible. And all of a sudden, the entire economy lead you built up over almost 20 minutes is gone. Damn, I gotta give it to him. This is one of the most convincing Javelin games I've seen. This tech usually falls really flat and just gets avoided for good reason. But he found the perfect game to do it, and he done it against mass knights. Cat can try to stop him escaping, though. We have got a sandwich developing here. The knights have the royal bloodlines. I mean, it's not even in range. No, he can just engage on the east side instead. He splits it up. He needs to go west. He sees it. There's way more javelins over here, less Donzos. And now, like, on the second part of the fight, archers are going to be able to deal with the spearmen. And the knights should be able to clear this up. Yeah, there's not many spears left over. So, well played by Cat. He got distracted for a moment there, but immediately recalibrated and chased on in. It's so tricky, though. Even though you do counter these javelins, you're seeing the damage they do. The poison alone is just a big stinger. You can't. At this point, you're getting close to just pulling away entirely, because like once you're down to about 3, the trickle damage isn't worth it for the risk of snipe. So yeah, he's just going to back off here. B did lose his military advantage. 28 to 36 now. And the quality is definitely still there with Cat, right? Like, you know, it's one thing to say, oh, B has Javelineers, but you have to remember that these are royal bloodline knights. I do believe, yes, he did. Clever lad. He got Cantle saddles. So even just getting that initial charge in does immense damage into the Javelineer count. I mean, to one-shot a knight. Knights have 5 ranged armor. These guys will only be doing, what, 7 damage per strike? So if you wanted to one-hit him, you would need... What was that? Like, oh, it's too late. 45 shots, I think. About 45. Obviously, poison could kill them afterwards, so maybe like having 35 is good, and then the poison finishes. Is it 67 shots? Are you sure about that? Because if your Javelineers are doing 7 damage each, you said 7, right? And these have 310 health. So 40 shots would be 280. Yeah. 44 shots. Let's say the maths is questionable there. 67, like, dude, 67 maybe if you're throwing plastic. But remember, like, you don't need that many because of the poison. The poison's also just annoying because it disables the healing, right? This right now kind of looks scary for B. Cat is circling from multiple angles, and B, because he doesn't have ranches, yeah, he's just munching on the cow to try and stay alive here. I don't know, I think Cat is looking pretty good. It looked a bit shaky, but we see the gap that starts to emerge here, right? When you have to go Javelineers like this, it's very much kind of a, like, one big hit, and then the Knights still counterplay. Donzo count is at least good, but the problem is just getting on top of these Knights. I think more than anything, the problem for B is, like, the lack of long-term food here is going to kill him. You could argue that Cat's got a similar issue eventually. Doesn't feel like it's as painful for him, though, and I think a big part of that is the healing the Knights, right? It just gives you a second recharge, a second use for them. Instead of them just being, oh, this unit's pretty much dead now, let me commit it. Just take your time, come back again another minute later. How good's munching on cows? You pay 90 gold, and then you get a gathering rate of 1, right? So you can get 8 villages around it, which means that you are generating, what, 480 food a minute while spending 90 gold. And then most of that gold is, like, it's just passive. So it's actually a really good trade. Compared to, like, if you were doing, say you had sheep left over, that's 0.75. So you'd be doing 45 a minute, right? So we said, how much did we say we're doing? 480? Instead, you could be doing, what, 360? So it's an extra 120. And the cow costs 90, right? And obviously, you're not going to have infinite sheep. So, like, even if you equate those details, though, and said you could have infinite sheep instead for free for some reason, you're still talking about a 30 resource positive exchange. It's good. It's really good. Posturing again. And the knights are just going to A-click in. He shuffles around the side, though. He's reached the javelins. Can B actually win this? The Donzos are clearing house pretty fast here. And the javelins, it looked like a bit of a panic moment there, but I think the high base damage, the poison, was able to fin it a bit. He needs more Donzos here, though. Cat, he's microing away the injured. Just waiting on the side right now. The issue I have here is the numbers are deceptive. Cat may have 15 French knights, but over half of them do not want to fight right now. It's great micro, but it doesn't change the mathematics of this. You're down on the count. More than is apparent here. And soon to be even further. A few Donzos still left here. We'll be able to start dealing with the knights. By God, I think he's done it. A new wave of Donzos coming in. Cat will not be able to touch the gold, and well, he's got 2.5k in the corner, but it's a long walk away. B is just one step away from winning this. You can feel it at this stage. Cat, you know, he needs too much time. One of the big issues that doesn't get talked about with Chivalry is not percentile based. It's incremental. And that means when you increase your health pool like this, it takes substantially longer to fill, right? Like that's a sleeper element that you have to keep in mind. It's hard enough to actually full HP with normal knights. When you add Royal Bloodlines in, though, it feels like it takes a decade. He just doesn't have that type of time on his side here. Just enough Donzos to hold those knights at bay, and the javelins are pretty much sticking the final nail in the coffin. History repeating itself between these two because it's not going to be one-sided. 1-1. It's actually always funny when I watch Cat versus B, because I know they're competing, and I know they're trying to beat each other. But it almost sometimes feels like they're just going back and forth intentionally to just get you to a culmination of a 5-game series. You know what I mean? Like, there's an entertainer role that it feels like they're filling, but I know it's not that. It's the same when we had Anatan and B as well, right? Like, they're definitely trying to win, but their play styles, the way they draft, the way they clash, it's very rare you don't get a long series with these type of players. And this is going to be an interesting one. King of the Hill, no ruse to be seen anywhere. But Zhu is one of the secondary kings of this particular hill. B, on the other hand, whether it's because he wants to get a draft upside or he has something very creative in mind, has gone Ottomans. Now, Ottomans is intriguing here, folks. The military school opening has been surprisingly effective for that reason there. You see the rally? He's going to use the spears to shove in the deer to remove some of the pro scout's value from the Zhu. Now, where else this gets interesting is for Cat, his only sole goal should be to get Castle Age as quickly as possible. You don't want to play a long field against Ottomans. One, because they just get all these Vizier point quirks. But the other big detail is the meta, actually. If you get a meta and you use the ranged armor, Zhu can't play their best unit, which is Jugnu. And you also don't really want to play Palace Guard into Sipahi either. So yeah, I think for Cat, his win condition definitely lies in Castle Age. For B, there is some variability here. He might play some presence in the Feudal Age, but I wouldn't be surprised either if he plays into Castle, and for some reason we have 20 Springles in this game. Actually, get your bets in. How many Springles do you think collectively these two would have built between them by the end of King of the Hill? Considering the way that you get accelerated to an end state with the Sacred Site, I'm going to go with 12. And they'll probably all belong to B. Love this as well. It's just shoving the deer a bit further away to minimize Cat's value. Cat, has he got a good midi gun? Ooh. No, they're too far apart. This would be a jackpot if you can reach out to it. He's going to go safer on the east side, though. So 25 stone, 36 food, about 50 wood. Yeah, the thing about this, the reason why a lot of players rate the stone over, let's say, extra grabs, which I can't believe, we just walked a little bit further. But the reason why the stone is so good is whenever you're going to play fast castle, it allows you to gradually get a TC. 2 TC transition after getting 5 relics, or 4, whatever it is. This is a very organic play with this opening. That's why you'll see the highest level GG players almost always seek the stone. How many units can one shot of Springwood hit? So it's 8 tower range. A unit of this size, you can get 4 to a tower, right? So theoretically, the maximum you should be able to hit is 32, because I don't think it has a penetration limit. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong there. I haven't thoroughly tested. But based on like rough guesstimation, I'd say somewhere between 24 and 32 units. And that's assuming like they start lined up at you and you shoot all the way through. Which is like realistically never going to happen. So Sultanate trade network coming in. Why is B noob? He cannot trade. Doesn't matter. He just wants the gold trickle. Game's looking beautiful zoomed in. Dude, I still, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm Stockholm syndrome people, but I personally think the game is better zoomed in. Unless you have grand scale fights that require a zoom out. You just capture the details more. There's easier focus on what you want to talk about or look at. Also, for you guys, like, what you have to realize is when it comes to a live stream perspective, it's even more important to zoom in because my local recordings, I could ramp up the quality to 4K, right? But for streaming, especially on like Twitch has hard limitations that make 1080p actually impossible to get at its true quality. So Spimmin have been shoving these deer in, but it looks like Cat has been starting to be a tricky bugger. Yeah, he was aware of what was happening here. He's trying to get in range to snipe, but B's now doing a good job of trying to keep him away. Can he maybe? You can see he just wants just a little nibble. Nah, I won't be able to find it, so I have to run away here. We do have the Pal Scout we talked about for Cat. No Pro Scout still, but with 3 on gold, yeah, it's going to be coming quite quickly here. This is cool though. I love the Pal Scout detail. The tricky part for B is he has 4 gold. Now, he can play the game without gold due to the Sultanate trade network. It's just not going to look pretty. So he needs to get a lot of feudal force out now. Now, what you want to do as Cat here, these PG are fine to have, but you don't want to lose them. Right? You can say that is true of any unit, but for these, because they're just so valuable when they get upgraded. So like him fighting the Spim in here, maybe a little bit questionable. He can always run away when he's injured. And Cat, whoa boy, whoa boy. Boy, I said boy. Yeah, that was not ideal by Cat. These are very expensive investments. 125 resources at this stage in the game. You expect a lot out of this unit. Now B, it is going to be the Sipahi we talked about. The counter to PG. At some point, Springles are unstoppable. I mean, there's a population limit. But like, I will say this. If you're playing free-for-all, Regicide, Black Octagon rules, and you've killed 4 players, build 60 Springles. You can thank me later. Oh, and then don't forget to like play an epic soundtrack, maybe like Flight of the Valkyries. So Pro Scouts is coming in finally. Cat actually added in quite a few spears as well. Smart read actually due to the Sipahi, but B, this is risky. He went for the Imam point. He needs to get more melee units out here. Instead, it looks like he's switching into the archers. That's going to take time though. And while you're doing this, you know, you've already exhausted a very valuable Imam point early on from your Vizier Council. And you know that your opponent is going to be pro scouting. Like, I'd say at this stage, Cat's kind of getting more out of this game than B is. He's going to be rotating around the back to the tree line as well. Really important considering B just decided he wanted to transition to archers and he's actually doing it. We speculated about it in the pre-lobby. I just wasn't entirely sure he was going to commit to it. I guess now it being a longer feudal, he kind of feels like he has no choice. And if he can force a super long feudal off the back of this, it's even better for him because of all those points. So yeah, Pro Scouts coming in for the Ottomans. Welcome to the meta, where everyone and their mum does it. Yeah, this is hard now for Cat to win. What we said before about him needing to get out of feudal age is even more important now. Like, these imam points make this an impossible fight. You even see the melee armor. Sick read. These Palace Guard barely touch now. They hit for less damage than the spear. Actually, same damage because these are Dark Age spearmen. He's just wearing him down. Like, if you can't kill it, it's not even worth trying. Sipahi are going to be able to peel away. And Kat, he's at risk of losing this map quite swiftly from here, right? B has a snowball point now. Kat's answer is meant to be Zhug, but you guys remember what we said about Zhug and why you can't do it here. Sipahi are already a great counter, but with the ranged armor, you tickle. In fact, with the ranged armor from the meta, you can reduce Zhug damage to 1 into the Sipahi. It takes way too long to kill. The only upside of going Zhug here is you will be able to snipe the imams, but I think Kat knows it's going to take way too long. So instead, he's prioritizing Palace Guard. He's going to take a defensive line here. And I imagine we're going to be seeing him trying to get ready for a tech up, because that's what B's doing. 1s if you think B's going to win this. 2s if you think Kat is. Because based on predictions, 75% of you back the Ottomans, which is wild. Now, part of that might be for B. I kind of feel part of that is also the thought, why would he pick Ottomans here? What is he up to? What am I not seeing? You do have walls coming up from Kat, but that's going to take some time. That just slows down the tech play even more. You know what? I know the buff that... You know what's wrong with Ottomans, guys? You want to know why Ottomans suck in the current meta? The military school can't produce scouts. I mean, actually a fair point. Although I think they would be broken if they could. Because you'd be able to produce a scout quicker than you produce a spearman. So you'd be able to shove in the deer really, really cleanly. I can't believe he's just flooding Palace Guard in H2 like this. He does have the melee arm activated. Supply count is a little bit lacking, though. I think B was getting a bit greedy here. The imams need to be protected. The problem, though, is look at how little damage they take. He catches a few of these archers, but he needs to get on the imams. You can see that B is intentionally keeping them away from him. He gets this around, though. He can't keep them. Oh, this has to be so infuriating. He's splitting the fight up a little bit. You do need to regroup so that you've got that heal aura. But look at those health bars and then look at these. It's not enough to trade. You have to kill. B is just grinding him down, man. We also have a lot of stone gathering, so this could be additional military schools, easy peasy. I mean, even 2TC doesn't sound that wild to me right now. Not with Pro Scouts. Not with the way Ottomans can play it anyway. God, just so many PG. And the worry I have now is, you know, he's not going to be going for the Mountain Academy, right? That means instead he's going to be going for Shaolin Monks. And Shaolin Monks can't heal this. This is just permanent damage. Good news, at least for Kat, is he will be able to tech up faster. 1, because it's cheaper. 2, because his hammers are more sturdy, I guess. Love the melee armor idea. This would have been sick early from B. It would have given him a full push-in timing. I'm surprised he's actually attacking like this with so little Sipahi, right? Like, you can't get in. Yeah, a little bit of a mistake being made there, even losing one of them for free. He's got to be aware the tech is coming. I think from B's POV, he just wants to stop these relics. Like 2 on the left side is just an organic move for Kat here. But tech up complete. Veterancy is going to be coming through, and B now needs to rush his own age up. And this is where the Palace Guard pays off, by the way. It's not going to be as good as you'd like. Like, if we're being realistic here, he doesn't have 16 Palace Guard worth of health. Has probably about 12. Maybe 13. But, in return, B doesn't actually have an answer to that at all. He can't fight with the archers. You can already see ranged armor 2 is going to be coming in 50. That could be supervised. And wow, Kat, he actually doesn't chase this. A little bit surprised by that. I don't know if that was intentional or he just lost track. Because you want to be chasing your opponent back here, right? With the age advantage, this is like that classic older dodge. Like if I tech first, I go men-at-arms or knights. Because you don't have a real answer. Men-at-arms in particular, right? Because you just don't... Like the closest is Sipahi here. And before they traded well, but against castle variety, no. So Memoed Imperial Armory is going to be coming through. Because as we know, guys, when you lose faith in the world, when there's Yuzhis all against you, when the Palace Guard are flooding, the answer is simple. Build a Springald. We do have the first monks hitting the field as well, so Cat will start to inflate his economy behind this. I don't know about this. B, this doesn't feel like the tech is going fast enough. He's going to be forced to fight. Underneath the TC we go. That's Sipahi front line, though. Are you kidding me? It felt like he barely even touched him. No. Mass melee. Like, you need to go around. The Sipahi are just so thick. Free melee armor. 155 HP. Is it enough to keep him alive? It looks like it is. Cat now going after the villages. This is what he needs. Lancer follow-up is on the way. B, he has got double military score. He doesn't want to have to go for that Janissary point, though. By God, I think he might have done it. He does not give a damn about this. He's just not dying. The toxicity of healing in AoE 4. First Janissary is also coming out here. Will be a perfect counter to the follow-up Lancer. And he just can't reach him. I mean, a few workers are dying, right? The lead is building. Cat is ahead by 6 worker kills. Reality is not, because the traders kind of make up a bit extra here. That was a heavy commitment from Cat. And although B got scratched, I don't think he got infected. Ridiculous fight. And yes, correct to look at the destroyed value, because now you also got to consider that in Castle Age, the military school effect ramps up. They start to really add eco benefits to this stage. Sacred Site has been locked in. Cat will get a different type of advantage, or should anyway. But so far, we don't have a rush onto the relics, right? It's only 2 monks and a second relic now being grabbed. So there is still an opportunity to contest here for B. And I think B's building the Mango because it's default to begin with anyway. And he probably didn't notice straight away, so he didn't toggle. That's usually how people play that. Yeah, you can see already, he's literally queued up the Springald afterwards. And by the time you might notice, you don't want to then cancel the progress. It just feels wasteful. So don't worry. B is moving across the Springald life. The Cat, he should be moving across the stone, though. So on a standard map, the value of the stone we talked about is a 2TC play. Here, the play isn't 2TC. Here, the play is a keep drop. He's getting the walls up, which is going to buy him some time. We do have emplacements coming in. Okay. Wait, is he going to poor man keep this? There's 2 approaches. You can either go for a big keep drop, or you can just add in loads of outposts and spring with them up with fortifications. I like the fortification idea, especially against things like the Janissary, because you can just snipe them down really easily. How much the stream delay? No stream delay. I'm right here. If you mean in-lobby delay, we're 5 minutes behind, but this is literally your live feed. You won't get any earlier in the game. Or later, rather, in the game. All right, we have Nest of Bees. So this allows Cat to either go PG or Lancer. He's actually going to be in crossbows as well, but I think you can actually just justify PG or Lancer. Because against Nest of Bees, like, B cannot go for Janissary. His archers are going to feel worthless. Even against the Springalds, actually, now that I think about it. What, 7.5 tower range versus 8? If you're quick and you catch him not looking, you just get in, get out. Shake it all about. Actually, also waiting in the winds. I mean, B is going to go here quite rapidly, considering the amount of gold he's eating too. Men-at-Arms, Janissaries, Siege. Obviously, the Siege at least for free, but if he wants to ramp it up. Looks like Cat's actually going to get impatient, so we'll continue to rotate. More wolves as well. Okay, Cat is just taking this to the extreme. think it might be more value to double wall the center. And there we go. It is going to be the keep drop. Yeah, he's locked in his win condition. Should be 5 relics soon, right? He's still got to go to the east side. But we do have the west on the way home. Now, I'm a really big fan of taking one of those relics into the center. This matchup, I think it's kind of forgivable not to, because you're expecting possibility of Janissary here. And Janissaries will just snipe a wall low. That being said, there is a realm in which you still get the wall low off when you remember that Jannies have low range, and Body of Iron gives you 50% range reduction. I know a Springles count overlay. I mean, why would I need to? It's right there. I mean, what you're asking for is to take this picture and zoom in on it. But like the problem with that is it doesn't work because the moment they add a new unit, the Springles could move. Sadly, And if we're talking about like a button that I press on my stream deck that like counts up, I guess that's possible. Almost like a how many times did KP mention Pro Scouts discussed button, you know? That's what we need. I need to look into that. Someone drop that on Discord and remind me. I need to look into like just a counter thing for different things in the game. It's like, oh boy, we've got Bruce. How many times am I going to mention Horse Archer this game? And he's going full walls. Layers for the Ogre. We do have trebuchets being prepped by B. Some of them are passively produced, so they're going to take a while. I'm just not sure this is quick enough. You can already see that Cat is stockpiling more stone. It's going to be a secondary keep. He's definitely skirting this in a very fine way. It's a fine line he's taking for sure. Another keep drop on the way. Now, until that outpost is up, you can't see for sure. The Nesta Bees are moving in for the ambush. Textiles will save the villagers, but it means he cannot see up the hill. He's going to have to march up. And that's unfortunate because had he had that vision, he could have stopped this keep. I think you need to march up to the Nesta Bees. The problem is the Janissaries can't be the ones responsible for it. He's being held hostage. Cat's timing is vile here, man. What a read. He's going to try to commit in, but the Nesta Bees should be turning around now for their shots. Flurry to the backside. Has to split the formation. Cat really should be looking to back up a little bit more to get the assistance of the castles now. Because the issue is, like, you need that finishing touch. Remember, the AoE heal is why the knobs don't look as impactful as they normally are. Even against the Janissaries. And we do have the relic being picked up here. So Cat is ready to party with this thing. 3 minutes to go. Trebuchets have barely done any damage. A ring of the bell. He has to know that time is no longer on his side. He's rapidly producing into trebuchets. That means you've got less answers to the Nesta Bees. I don't actually know how B breaks in here. This looks impossible. This is so toxic. How good the usually are on this map with this type of build. You have to play so aggressively into them or this happens. Crazy as well, actually, when you think about the way this game began in the Feudal Age, looked really good for B. I think maybe if he'd just gone for the melee armor earlier, he could have kept pressing and added a few more supply in. We would have had a very different game. But I think he was just getting greedy too soon, and Cat read through it. Trebuchets halfway through the health pool of one of these castles, but the villagers are being pulled. It's not going to be that easy, and it's about to get even worse for him. A second siege workshop, more Nesta Bees now on the way. Even if you break these castles, you have 4 Sipahi, and everything else is ranged. You just get hard countered by Nesta Bees. See, look, right now, we could have a counter from that time of saying, oh no. The gold gathering is right here. March up the hill is definitely not an easy one. Nesta Bee shots coming in. The mango's almost dead. We'll have to pull for the repair. And you're just not killing fast enough. So that means we are going to be heading into game 4 with Cat on match point. scary place to find yourself here. Not the first time for B. Maybe it's finally Cat's time to step up into a grand finals. Could B be denied the hat trick to start off 2025 by his teammate? We're definitely going to be finding out. Knob shots are just going to be too fast now. Like, you can't back away anymore, and I think B knows it. So does Cat. Like, yes, just approach the wall, please. I've got a little reward for you. Oh, no, and the A clicks. Oh, this is a tunnel sadness right now. Knob shots in. It's just ridiculous. The POV from the Juji as the Ottomans go down in a burning heap of trash. It is indeed the age of animals. These filthy animals going deep into the night. Game number 4. Cat with the Japanese. And B, I need to see a golden solution here, man. Abba has not looked good into Japanese quite often. The Coca Township build may offer up some presents for camels. We'll have to see. I wonder if there's a chance that maybe we get fishing. If there was some players in the weeklies that would do it, these are the two. We have, I think, seen both these guys drop a dock before, and they're definitely playing 2 civs that could justify it. But I imagine for Cat, in particular the Japanese, is going to want that faster timing into potential Coca Township play. And B, because of the threat of that, wouldn't want to go docks himself. So Rocky River could be where it's decided. And reminder that this would be considered an upset, really, if remember that B has made the last 2 grand finals, actually last 3 grand finals. Guy has been on fire, right? We had him in All-Stars, we had him in week 9 and week 8. But yeah, I stand by what I said, by the way. I think the sheep spawn system is toxic. I would never... If someone said I had a map for you that has 60 sheep on it, no berries, no deer, no boar, I would say no. Because what you've just said to me is someone could just get beaten at 4 minutes in the game. Statistically, it shouldn't happen because spawns or whatever, but like it happens all the time. Even when people rotate with reasonable expectations, they somehow just miss sheep everywhere. And part of the problem, by the way, is because sheep move. The fact that sheep move means they can technically move out of their tiles. Because remember, the map is split into a bunch of tiles, and certain numbers of sheep can spawn in each. Usually it's 2 in each tile. However, because they can spawn anywhere within those tiles, they could technically start at the edge of a tile and then move into a different one. So what might be an optimal scouting pattern to find sheep could still find nothing. That's kind of wild. But like we said, the problem is that you have a system that has been so integral to Age of Empires 4 that you can't really remove it now. You're kind of stuck with it, right? Because to get rid of sheep, you need a drastic rework, new food types, a complete reformatting of like the early game interactions. So Culture Wing's coming in. Now, I kind of like this different approach by B. This could still be 2 TC Fast Castle. Most likely, it's just going to be raw Fast Castle. It's ballsy to rush Japanese like this, considering how aggressive their timings are. Even more so when you consider that Cat went for the Kura Storehouse, so he's going to have that constant pump. Yeah, I'm wondering if B was maybe expecting Koka here instead of Kura. We already have the Tawara coming through. Really smart read. It means that you can actually just smoothly move across the berries and have a better gathering rate already. Likely what we're going to see from Cat is just club the sheep, and then after you tech up, eventually move over with Tawara and get a gathering rate that is comparative to shoreline fish. How did you guys vote, by the way? So Predicky's 64% for B. I can't help but feel on that vote, people might be gambling with their heart because they want even more games here. Because they're really betting on me losing my voice eventually. After all, we are now approaching 8 hours in. But I will not go down with this ship. And there we go. He even goes earlier. So what this tells you is that Cat is taking this timing super seriously. Instead of delaying his tech timing slightly by going sheep first, he's going to take the risky resource, take an accelerated rate, and then come back for the sheep afterwards. I like this. I've seen a lot of players do it the other way around, and I just don't understand why. It's weird. You should always take the riskier resource first. And also, by doing this, when you bring this many villages out, it's worth the 150 resource investment, right? Because of that 50% gathering rate accelerant. Think about it this way. You pay 150 resources. You've got 9 villages out here. Make that 10. 10 villages out here that are gathering an extra 50%. right? And like compared to sheep, it's more like an extra 20%. So if you're gathering like 45 food on average a minute, instead, like with this, you're gathering an extra 15 because you're gathering 60 food a minute. So that's an extra 15 times 10. That's 150. So after 1 minute, this pays for itself. So literally, the moment you bypass that 1 minute mark, the Takasaiku is paid off. If you add in Tawara, which is, I think, 75, that means 2 minutes in, you're still already in profit. Really solid play. I'm a big fan of it. Is Cat the new rising star in the AoE 4 Pro scene? Cat's existed for a while, but he's definitely just been unable to fully breach through. I definitely think that this is starting to look like his year. He's off to a really solid start here. He borderline was qualifying for the EGC tournament, right? He didn't make it in the end, but I think he had... Was it both series? Was, I think, 3-2 for him. Yeah, so you had Dumu versus Cat, which is 3-2 for Dumu in the first qualifier, which is wild. It was that tight. And then, okay, sorry, no, the second one, he actually got 2-0 by Abbasid, which did surprise me. I'm not really sure what happened there. Well, I can kind of tell you what happened. I think it was a bit of an outdraft. It was Lakeside English versus Ottomans, and then Four Lakes Japanese versus Ayu. So yeah, I think Abbasid just outdrafted him. No offense to Abbasid, I'm sure he doesn't mind me saying, like, based on skill level playing the game right now, Cat has looked a bit better. But we'll see. I'm sure we'll keep improving. And, you know, that's the whole thing about the midweek muster tournaments is it's for these type of players that are coming up. But I really want to make sure we've got the higher level players playing as well. Because it doesn't feel right that you can just pretty much dodge out on these. Right? To protect your elo. I mean, if these guys aren't that good, you should be able to beat them, right? Wink, wink. That's right. I'm just goading the top players into playing. So, stable's already dropped. Tech up on the other side hasn't been triggered yet. Wait, was this... This was Pro Scouts. He's doing my build! Alright, I didn't take it to the extreme of the 2TC, but you wouldn't do that against the Japanese. This was Culture Wing, Preservation of Knowledge, Pro Scouts. That's why his tech timing was a little bit worse. That's sick, man. Now, I'm not saying I invented this. But B has been... He has been lurking in our chat recently. So we theory crafted this out, right? I was saying Abbasids are kind of low-key interesting for Pro Scouts because there's two builds. You can go Culture Wing into 2TC with Pro Scouts, or you just go Culture Wing, Pro Scouts, Fast Castle. The whole idea is Preservation Knowledge. It costs you basically, what was it, 150 resources, I want to say? But you save 20%. So you're already saving 70 resources back on the Pro Scouts play. And then you save a much more impressive 270 resources on the tech of going castle. Then you have the eco techs afterwards, things like wheelbarrow, fresh food stuff. Like, there's so many things that like, you just get, and you get cheaper. It's worth it. So now we're going to have the tech up coming through. Military Wing is going to give him the double Camel Rider to block the initial Mount Samurai. We do have a double stables opening from Cat, which is peculiar here, actually. Even more so is the fact that Yorishiro dropped this second stables and is producing out of the worst one. What? Okay, this actually makes no sense from Cat. Wait, unless... Hold on a second. Was this intentional? And he's going to get synced up timing on double Mount Samurai. But you could have just had two Mount Samurai. Right? Because you already had the resources to make... Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense to me. It's a bit weird. But, you know, Cat's the pro player, so we'll see how this cooks. What would have made more sense is basically having an archery range behind this immediately, right? He's still gathering the goodies on the flanks. We do have the Uma Bannerman now on the way. That's what I thought he might use the second stables for, but it's come out of the primary. That scout has been denied, so walls going up. Be fully aware of the pressure that's about to be coming his way. Unfortunately, this scout is never going to get touched now. All right, one's if you think Cat's going to win this. Two's if you think B's going to take it. Because we're starting to see the pictures, we're starting to see the way they're cooking. We've got infantry comp from B. It's going to be spear crossbow. His goal is to survive. Survive, survive, survive. Come out at the right time. Cat needs to race for relics. In fact, I wouldn't even be against rushing a Shinto shrine and getting another priest out. Just so that you can block the timing that B is aiming for here, which is about 13 minutes, he'll start coming out. All right, because at 13 minutes, you're going to basically be out of food anyway. Like I said, he's got pro scouts, but you'd like to be able to play towards the center of the map anyway, right? Easy to secure additional deer, and then you even have the option of berries on the flanks. So interesting that you mentioned Cat building Screaming Ladies. He's not going to do it straight away, but it is an option with the farms. Remember, Kura Storehouse makes Onabugeisha possible in a way that I don't think you can do it with Coca Township. It's just too expensive and you don't have the food income to sustain. God, just still so many sheep though. 17. The Shinto Shrine is now being dropped. Second relic being targeted in the center of the map. He's got the safe relic in the corner still to play for on a delay. B still not coming out of the base yet. Also, Mount Samurai, a good way of actually blocking additional pro scouting. Looks like Cat didn't intend for it though, so I think he's planning to dive into the base. Meanwhile, B will begin to move out. Cat is prepping Yumi. Now, not surprised by this. I don't think B's going to be too shocked either, considering the amount of Yumi he plays. They've practiced this. Before them even, you had the Spanish bros doing it. You even had the Canadian bros for a little stint doing it on land. For a lot of them, it fell off. I think mainly for the Spanish bros, it held on, especially on water maps. But these guys, the 3D clan members, have been trying to take over the Yumi build when it comes to land. And Shinto is going to be able to just shuffle in here. Wow, he goes more greedy. Yeah, and this might actually pay off because look at what B's doing. He's now going into monks. Logically, the imam should be coming here first. There's just going to be nothing for him. I mean, it's tricky. B, surely... Wait, that looks suspicious. He pulled it from out of range. I don't think B has fought anything of it so far, though. All along the east side. That Shinto is at least going to get blocked out. And he's going to now be able to go wide, seeing what's happened here. However, B might struggle to now stop that imam from yoinking a relic back here. In fact, with two of them on this location, this is where B should be camping right now. Yeah, I think Cat kind of made a bit of a blunder there. Dragging the relics close together is the quickest way to give B an advantage. Like, his comp isn't mobile. So with relics, you want them as split as possible so you can't guard them all. Right? Because if he has to guard two sides of the map, you can just overwhelm him with Mount Samurai Yumi. Speaking of those Yumi, I'm going to start playing in. The crossbows will win this fight, though. Yeah, this is a bit premature from Cat. He doesn't have Steeled Arrow at all. No Yumi Bannerman. Like, there's no damage buff whatsoever. He's hitting half as hard as his crossbowman. Relic is now going to be shuffling home. At this stage, I think Cat probably is better served by going into the base with a few mounted samurai. He's clearly stacking for a main engagement, which I like to a certain degree of Yumi, if you have the numbers, but we're not there yet. I mean, hell, he does have a Yorishiro drop. I think you need double archery range Yorishiro to make this work. That might be coming eventually here. 40 seconds out from the new Yorishiro. Archery range is going to be up in about 15. Melitechs are getting queued up, so just stacking up the damage, really good in the percentile scaling as well. Steeled Arrow 2 is going to be coming through, so rapidly we're seeing Cat hit those timings we were worried about before. Undermesh is not there yet for B. A little bit delayed getting into it. The Mount Samurai are going to dive in. B, a little bit blind in the forest. Spinmen are going to be revealing themselves here, but the Mount Samurai could just bypass. That one camel just providing the debuff, actually pretty noticeable there. But he got the space. That was sick. So Cat, he just runs deeper to force the crossbow away, and that gives him the wipe on the spearman line. So B should not be able to stand here anymore. In the meantime, Cat now has the fourth relic on the way home. I say fourth because this one should not be grabbable for B. So 4-1 split. And reminder, this is not your 2 TC Abba build you're used to seeing in every game. This is 1 TC Culture Fast Castle. Which has to have B fans sweating at this stage, actually. Gulam switch is okay against the Yumi. Obviously, well, I say okay, quite good, but the Mounted Samurai is what has me worried there. You know, you don't really have a front line if you do this that can just completely stop Mounted Samurai. What Cat could do? Maybe mangoes? Yeah. Okay. I wondered if he was going to try it. Like, it's a lot of crossbows at this stage, and taking the fight directly is going to be difficult. We do also have the horseman coming through. You have to remember that B didn't reveal the Gulam, so Cat might be suspicious of it, but at least, you know, normally horsemen get caught by Gulam. The mobility is what matters more here. No, please don't build Springles. I mean... No, surely not. I forgot for a second we're watching a 3D clan game. It's going to be Springles, isn't it? I mean, technically, that's a solution to the Gulams. I can't believe I'm defending it. At this stage, you kind of got to try to justify it, I guess. Fudosashi's coming in, which is intriguing. Okay, no, he's on the bear. I was about to say, Fudosashi makes no sense unless you are berry gathering. And yeah, B didn't scout the 5th relic. Cat has. He just hasn't gone to pick it up yet. Extra Militech coming in. All right, look, he built a Springald emplacement and a Spring. No. Not just did he build Springalds, he Yorishiro dropped that mother ducker. He's building them every 8 seconds. Come on. Why? I guess we're done building Yumi. Why build crappy small archer when you can build big boy archer? Zoom, zoom. Okay, so what does B have to deal with this? Not much. I mean, if Gulam can reach it, right, they destroy Springalds because the double strike and no melee armor. But you're going to be running headfirst at the Springalds. One issue I'm seeing for Cat is he keeps getting housed, though. Like, he's kind of producing Springles too quickly here. Yeah, Lad is definitely struggling to keep up. Well, I'm kind of surprised it took 4 games to get this. I mean, in fairness, B was building them the 3rd, right? But, you know, that was kind of for free. And he only done it temporarily before getting Trebs. So Cat is about to hit a new record. He's looking to go up to about 15 Springles here. Whether he has time to get to 15 Springles is an entirely different question. He doesn't know yet. And this is key. Look at where Cat has done this. There's a small stealth forest that could trick B. Springle shots revealed. Surprise! Well, he's frontlining with the Yumi and the Horseman. He kind of has to here. If the Gulam touch this, it's just insta-death. It's insta-death for them too. Talk about a double-edged bolt. However, it looks like Cat's front line is not going to hold. I don't know what he was expecting here, man. What? Springald's not working? We talked about it being a situational unit. I don't know, man. How are you meant to use Springals against 50 crossbows? Oh my god. It's going all the way. We are going to be getting a game number 5 between the animals. What do you want me to say? Boot camp? I mean, it is very hard to kill even one Gulam with Springalds, right? Because Springalds do, was it 10 plus 18, 28 damage? Mitigate 6, so 22 damage. So it actually takes 11 Springald shots to kill a Gulam. That's a lot. That's too much. It comes down to this. HRE versus Jeanne. He's going to get outpost rushed. Oh, ladies and gents. 5 games to get to this. It might end up being our quickest one so far. B on the HRE. A man that is very capable of executing Jeanne rapidly in this game, and a man who also wouldn't hesitate to go mine work to do it even quicker. Curious to see if that's the way he wants to go. Unlikely considering the potential for knights, but we'll have to see if we can get to that point. Cat, he is pulling additional people into gold. He knows. Yeah. Oh, he scouted it straight away. Okay, we might actually have a real game on our hands. Great read by there by Cat. Fully aware of H3's potential to play a Dark Age Rush. He knows it's coming. B shouldn't really add in more than 2 spears here, which I don't think was his original plan. I think if you want to make this play work, you have to outpost rush. There are some civs where just building the spears is good enough, but against Jeanne, you have to build the outpost, because if you show up with 2 spears here, he can just idle Jeanne to attack you. Like, she has 150 HP. She has more health than almost both of the spearmen combined. I love that. You see that little detail? Cat, he intentionally pulls Jeanne to the outside, so she tanks the shots. So not only does she have 3 times the health of a villager, folks, she'll also heal. Do it another way. Le shrug. You just don't care. Cat is actually gathering as much as he can. He wants to try and get that first knight at least. Look at her just tanking it. Hit me. Hit me harder. I don't know why she's suddenly a doughy dwarf, but gets as much gold as he can, gets away. So outpost going up. Now, Cat does still have the retracted gold behind. Most importantly, he has more than enough gold for his opening play, which is going to be School of Cavalry into a knight. Or is it? Nah, it's going to be, right? I mean, he's going for a mill. Yeah, like, can we just think about this for a second, Cat? I don't know if he was doing that to try and bait B, but we do have School of Cavalry coming. The mill wouldn't make sense, right? Because you didn't have enough for a wheelbarrow. Actually, I guess you could, right? Yeah, because the 30% discount. I think he was 4 gold short, if I'm not mistaken. So that wouldn't have been an option either. So instead, we'll just get the tech up and 1 knight to follow. B, do you go for an additional outpost? Can you go for an additional outpost here? Probably feels a bit weird. Remember this next time you get tower rushed as Jeanne D'Arc? Yeah, like, she's incredible. 150 HP, and like I said, she heals. You're seeing it. Just ticking back up. So yeah, always just keep that in mind, guys. That's why she's also really good for tower rushing, because she's hard to kill. The amount of effort it takes when, even if you pull villagers and pinch her, she just doesn't die that quickly. I'm not going to say she's going to be able to stab her way out of a surround of villagers, but she's definitely going to waste a lot of your time trying to kill her. Cheap haul in the meantime. Went a lot better for Cat. 18 sheep compared to 9. And Cat's tree lines are pretty far away. Yeah, he got a pretty rough spawn for this. They're usually out of TC range, but this one's a bit further away. You can see by comparison, right? Like, B actually spawned a bit closer. That's harsh. Yeah. That might be the biggest extreme we've ever had on board land in any tournament. Not just that. Another thing, yeah, we talked about the possibility for mine work. It's coming. I thought B might just take the double wood line for arcing, but why do you want wood? Who cares about archers? So mine work coming in. This is going to be spear plus horseman, which is perfect. Counters the knights, counters the archers. Also means that the Cat has to go for melee Jean. And even if you go melee Jean, you're not safe, right? Because all pikes plus bloomery is plus 3 damage. It means that your spearmen are almost 50% damage up in feudal. Yeah, it's interesting that it does that with the tree lines, but I haven't heard players speak negatively of board land. They haven't seemed to be complaining about it being in tournaments at all. I'm wondering if Cat is also expecting pro scouts. Yeah, well, he knows for sure now. He's like, oh, come on. Not this mine work build. So Cat's goal now is really survival. If he can somehow get past the uncomfortable element of mine work, there is hope. He has got a lot of sheep to do so. He definitely can't go pro scouts against this. He needs to get knights ASAP. So the goal for B is going to be to get up to about 10 spears. And then you can go into all pikes. Once you see the archers, you can then double justify it because you're going to move to horsemen as well. No. No way did he just do that. It's range Jean. Oh, this is bad, folks. This is really bad for him. Other interesting detail for B is now he has extra prelates. So he can heal the damage done to these early units. This is an anti-Jean build. All pikes, horseman, spears counters the whole comp, but also the fact that you have multiple prelates means you can heal the damage off. It's going to go for the snipe, but nobody able to get it at all. Oh, man. First knight already pretty low on HP, and Divine Restoration is still 80 seconds away. We don't have another dunk yet for Cat. It's still about, what, 20 seconds out? Now, he's losing some efficiency, not buffing his villagers. But you could look at it a different way, right? It's like you're stopping your opponent getting XP, and also you're now saving yourself a waste of 80 resources. Or getting closer to the point where you can just sandwich her. First horseman already getting queued. Spear's just so good at the gap close. Imagine this with the old Jeanne that moved at 1.25. You'd just be dead. Like, before they made that change, increasing her speed, you genuinely couldn't play range Jeanne into H3 spears like this. You just die. Oh my god, she's still dying though. Like, I think he's misread this. The horseman reveals itself. Cat, maybe about to lose Jeanne already for the first time. Notice he keeps peeling back the horseman. Doesn't want to give it over. He's allowing the spearman to charge in instead. And baits the knights in range. He ripples around. And that is going to be Jeanne down. God damn, B. He's your teammate. Come on. He's like, because he's my teammate, I must go all out on him. Gotta go full ham taro. That's how we show respect. By the way, this is pre any blacksmith deck. He just done that without any of the advantages we talked about. In comes the snowball. All pikes, 35 seconds out. It's kind of weird with all pikes, actually, because you're not bad at even contesting knights at that stage. Right, 125 health versus 190, and you end up being up with Bloomery as well at 12 damage versus what can cap out at 20. Now, of course, there is the armor. There is also the better attack speed. Granted. But the thing with horsemen at that point in the game is you can choose where you fight in a way that knights can't. Also makes it incredibly hard to walk injured knights away. So Cat up to 10 archers here. He is a little bit slow ramping up the horsemen. It's a bit tricky as well because of the lack of food we highlighted earlier, right? And he hasn't gone pro scouts, but he can play on the berries. He could even eventually play maybe north side, but he's having to waste a lot of time walling in the meantime. So it's giving Cat a more powerful all-in point in this game than he'd otherwise get. We do now have him switching onto the outburst. So it looks like he's decided to just fall back and get rid of that, but oh no. That may have just opened the gates. B, I mean, he sees that this is happening, right? So he gets away with pro scouts with no pressure onto him. The French Knights get the free +1 even if you don't have a blacksmith already. So French Knights from France will get the +1. Like, if French drop a blacksmiths, your Bloomery techs are always auto-research. So, you know, if you've built your first blacksmith in age 3, they'd all come in at the same time. But, like, it's always free on the melee tech. Jeanne lost that about a year ago. As one of the nerfs they brought into her, she doesn't get melee techs for free. Because she's meant to be all about attack and, like, double advantage of attacking because Jeanne herself, they took away a lot of the eco perks that she would have had. B, whoa, boy, that's an overcommitment. Yes, if you don't have a blacksmith, you won't get +1. Awesome right in the back, though. Oh, the all pikes. Not so much of an all-in, but it's going to force one out of Cat now. Outpost is making this a bit tricky. We have the undermesh also coming in. B needs to be careful of the prelates. They are going to end up getting sniped here. Expensive. Essentially like losing a villager, remember, because he's building them out of the town center. Looks like the horsemen are still doing damage on the back end of this. Now a 5 eco lead for B. Look at going. Well, I mean, it's more than that, actually. Right, it's 5 worker kills, 5 difference, but he built 2 extra prelates, so that means Cat obviously lost 1 villager by building Jeanne. Looks like he maybe missed a villager in production as well. New repairs coming through. It's just making this difficult for Cat to hit all in time. Also, blocking gold doesn't do anything here. Like, B doesn't need it, right? He got most of what he wanted. The only thing that he maybe is a little bit shruggy about is Bloomery, but he's already got 63 gold. So you can get that. Night Count is at least really good for Cat. B's goal isn't to win now. It's now to just get all the food necessary to win, right? Because we have to remember that when we look at the tail end of this, Cat, he never even built the mill, so this is a little bit subpar. He doesn't have pro scouts, right? Oh, wait, sorry, no, he did go for it in the end, didn't he? They mirrored it, yeah. So this is now a race. If Cat can get at least 50%, I think he's okay, because he can just get Knight Blob into Royal Institute. And that's the stage of the game where all Pikes feels bad. But B should, in theory, have an earlier point he can utilize here. But when I see double outposts, I'm getting this bad feeling that he's just going to rush castle. Hello, M-Lord. Yo, Marine Lord, I seem to be a Frenchman down on the sign-ups. Whoopsie, wrong scene. I mean, I see an Eliona in there, but I need someone who's going to be able to make semis, you know? Oh my god, the horseman again. So, you guys remember when you watched Byzantines with Expilatores? This is basically that. You don't get paid the gold, but you kill them as quickly. And no textiles from Cat. Like, when is he going to learn? He's getting the shivs out as well. I just don't think the horsemen care. Oh, this looks borderline over. He is toast. 30 villagers to 41 now. How is it the Cat is the one with French knights, and yet he's the one who has 0 worker kills? What do you mean you have no fun, Marine Lord? You can do whatever you want in these tournaments. Discover new strategies. Discover new maps. I don't know, like my advice, I guess my advice in that situation is play for the fun, maybe. I guess maybe at that point you're paranoid about the elo system, but I assume you be the guy who's like, I can beat everyone. A lot to them, not to me. Yeah, I get you, but like it's low percentile they win, right? So I guess it can stockpile over time. I mean, I've already been saying we do have something in the works. I'm hoping to have it announced at the end of this month. Something that's basically going to reward people who participate. Basically, something bigger. And I'm leaning towards not having a qualification phase and making it come down to participation for weeklies. So, yeah. Just ironing out the kinks on it. Men at arms down from B. I mean, you can kind of do what you want with this type of lead. Within reason, right? He's still flooding horsemen, which I just love. He's just outrating the raiding civ. Oh man, he even fights the archers. Good reaction quickly out of Cat, but really unnecessary and unacceptable losses here. He commits in again, and what Cat is looking? Okay. He's been torn a new one. And also, this is not a fight Jeanne wants to be a part of either. She might think she does, but there's just too many horsemen still alive. And where are the rest of the knights? There's only 2 left here. A handful of horsemen is good enough to take Jeanne out again. I just don't know how Cat is meant to do this anymore. Divine Restoration gets popped. The men-at-arms now in the picture. Mass horsemen. I mean, this looks toast. He done all this pre-Bloomery. That only just came in. Do I need to moan about Jeanne? Jeanne been looking that impressive recently. Yeah, I mean, HRE used to just be a really good counter to her because when we had the Jeanne 2 CC meta, HRE could punish full feudal. And as things have evolved, especially with the arrival of new mine work, I think Jeanne is still pretty hard countered by HRE. You can play Archon or mine work. And the outpost rusher, I think like that's the big deal, right? I think Cat done great to scout that early on. He addressed it correctly. He gathered the gold, but just being stopped, crippled from massing knights at the start of your age up, still hurt him here. Now Regnet's coming through. Men-at-arms already being queued. Heavy Mace's potential here. What has Cat really got left to do? Also, what? Wait. What is this? What is the complaint about Cat in the chat? Bruh. Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Why you call him awful? Sign up, beat him. In my realm, you have to earn the right to brag. The tech up complete. It looks like the raid is going to get a single villager. Veterancy's just got queued, right? Like the Men at Arms one is a little bit delayed, but that'll come in more swiftly here. This is all in against the all strat. Well, interesting you say that, Marine Lord. We were highlighting this. Last week, Cat and B went 5 games as well. And then, of course, I believe it was 4-1 or 4-2 in the end for B. So, yeah, these two, I mean, you can tell that they practice together. They just seem to bounce off of each other pretty damn well. But there's no denying it now, right? Relics are coming home. And Cat is going home in a cardboard box. I think that's what you do at bets. Well, Lol scares him away a little bit. Just buys the necessary time. The elite, or veteran checks rather, just came through. Horsemen and Men at Arms are now their real form. Congrats, Jeanne. You just spawned into a bigger mess. It's like, but level 3. Yeah, but being Castle Age is kind of good. Jeanne down. And Cat, I mean, if he could get Castle Age, right? Like that is the key if he can. Even then, though, what's the cost going to be? It's going to be 5 relics, right? Because you're going to be pushed into your base. There's 2 remaining. Remember, that's another thing about going mine work is because you're forced to build prelates, you can already be running out, kind of like a Delhi player would with scholars. Oh my god, and the horsemen are still raiding. Yeah, those are veteran horsemen with all pikes. They will actually be knights. Oh god. So commiserations to Cat. That is, I think is that the second time he made semis? It might have been quarters last. No, second time semis against B again. In fact, he actually messaged me. He was kind of curious, like, can we have maybe some more randomness to the seeding so we don't get the same people all the time? I think maybe we can look into that and see, like, how we can tweak it. Might be interesting to have a system where you can't face the same guy twice in a week, but it might be complicated to do, but we'll sort it. But GG's, be on track to make it a hat trick of winning titles here in midweek muster. 8, 9, now potentially 10. He's the first person into the finals. What do you guys think? You guys like watching these two? I think B and Cat have just been entertaining. There's some players that when they clash, you just get some of the most hilarious games. And I think you'd all agree these are some of the best at doing that. Who's your favorite duo to watch going up against, though? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you all in the next chapter.